Okay, so let's start with Pamela Buckzak. If there is no show, does a person get paid for their time? Okay, Pamela, if a person does not show up, we're doing inspections that are appointments. 9 times out of 10, you may need to go back, okay? And I'm just gonna be honest with that. If there is an appointment that you've made and you go there and the person does not show up and you do not have access in order to be able to do the inspection anyway without them being there, then you probably will end up having to set another totally different appointment and go back at another day and time. If you choose to now, because remember now, we are working on our own, we're working for ourselves, and you don't have to. You can actually tell the company, they didn't show up, I don't want to go back, give it to somebody else. Now, I don't know how that's going to end up in the end, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if from that point they're going to slow down on giving you work. I don't know if they're just going to agree with you 100% and give it to someone else for someone else to deal with the person. I don't know. But 9 times out of 10, if you want the money, I would strongly suggest that you just go ahead and make another appointment. Now, the only times that I have not made another appointment with someone who did not show up was because this person we've been chasing already for probably a month or so. And I have call after call and voicemail and email and contacting the agency and all of that stuff over and over and over. The company doesn't have to get involved and take over while I just lay back and see what's going to happen to try to get the appointment set, and then someone's just all of a sudden decides to contact me and say, hey, I'm ready to go on ahead and get the inspection done. And then as soon as I get there, they still had the nerve to not show up. Now those right there, they will go ahead and cancel those orders out, and you will get paid for your time, okay? And for your time of going over to that location, you're looking at probably about $20, okay? So I hope that does answer your question. All right, so let's just move along. This one is from J Free. Okay, y'all know I've been scrolling these names, okay? All right, J P-H-R-E-E 123. Hey Jay. All right. Mr. Law says something about working for up to 12 companies at a time. Do you recommend scaling up over time from 1 to 4 companies? Okay, Jay. So now I don't quite understand when you say, do I recommend scaling up over time from 1 through 4 companies? Are you trying to get up to 12 companies? Because let me tell you something. I have never, nor will I ever, work for 12 companies at one time. That is insane. Now, you can sign up for those many, but you know what? One of the reasons he probably say that, just like I told you guys before, is because a lot of them may not be giving you work at all. You know how that is. You go online and you're looking for a job, right? Regular 9 to 5s. Okay. LinkedIn and Career Builder, Monster, all that stuff. And you put in for a job. You apply for several jobs. They claim they have openings, but nobody ever calls. That doesn't mean that they don't still have openings. They probably just ain't called yet. They may be taking their time. They may just be trying to appease the people by putting it in. And I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to give you an example. I worked for a company once, and they put in whatever job openings they had just to appease the people. They already knew who they was going to hire. They knew they was going to hire Auntie Sally, Cousin Sue. All right, so that doesn't mean because you signed up that you're going to get work. But you will still end up with 12 different contracts under your belt that you're just staring at all the time. Now imagine, I'm going to tell you why I don't. Because the most I've done is between 6 and 7, and that was because I was just grabbing them as they were coming in. But at the same time, like I said, they were not giving me enough work. All of them were not sending me out to do any work at all, okay? And the only reason why I continued to hold them was because I was hoping that maybe somewhere down the line they would start giving me work, but it did not work out that way. So now, if you are in an area where work is scarce, then yeah, maybe sign up for as many companies as you can. But think about that. How long can you go with all of those companies signed up? Suppose they start trickling in here or there. You have all of these companies. Okay, it's gonna look good because you're like, oh, I got all this work coming in. But you got paperwork to do. You got appointments to call. All different companies have their own different protocols, things that they throw out at you as far as how fast to get work done, how fast should you be done called a company, all of this stuff. And those of you who are already doing inspections, you already know for a fact that once you've held the file long enough, it turns red. Y'all know what red mean on everything. It's always black, and once it's been sitting there too long, it's in red. Now, kudos to you if you are able to hold up those many companies, but up to 4 or 5 companies, yeah. When you reach your peak, when you reach those 1 or 2 companies that you know are paying you more than enough for your satisfaction, then you can release the rest of them and call it a day. If you are one that just believe in working around the clock and you could care less, then you know what? Kudos to you. All right, so let's just move on. I hope that helped you on that question. Chanel Baker 1014. Another great video. Thank you. How many inspections a day do you recommend? All right, so now as far as how many inspections you do, first of all, I'm just going to say it, it's completely up to you. How much paperwork are you going to have to do in the end? That is most definitely going to be a factor in how many inspections you do in a day. Because you may decide, I'm going to do as much of the paperwork when I get home, but then you may realize when you get home other things are taking up your time, especially if you have a family, and now all of your time is gone. You look around, it's done got late, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're ready to go to sleep, you go to bed, but you get up in the morning, and let's say for instance that day you had 10, tomorrow you got another 10. Okay, when you come home that next day, now you have 20 files. Okay? And those of you who are used to doing it, you already know if you let go of 4 or 5, or maybe 3 or 4 from the day before, and the next day you get out and do some more work, you now have about 8 or 9 files that you have to put in to the system. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to sit still long. I can't sit long. I get very, it does something to me, okay? All right, let's just say that. And I got to get up. But I strongly suggest, it's whatever you choose, first of all, okay? But I do strongly suggest that you only do as much as you know that you can handle as far as the paperwork is concerned. If you are doing inspections that are not appointments, and they're just drive-bys on an app or something like that, do as many as you can, honey, because on those locations, all you're doing is taking the pictures, uploading them right there on site, and calling it a day. And you can do 30, 40, 50 if that's the case. But as far as appointments are concerned, now try your hand at about 3, maybe 4 in a day, and see if you can handle that as far as the paperwork for that company. If you can, then, move it on up a little bit more. All right, I hope that helps. Robbie Joe -B2J. Do you try to get the appointments in the same area and time before taking some across town or being 15 or 20 minutes away from each location? So do I try to get appointments in the same area? Okay, so first off, the files that the companies give you in your system, they are not by choice. These are files that they give you based off of the area that you told them when you started that you can work. So with that being said, once I get them, I have a way of scheduling. Sometimes it don't work out that way. And if you've watched any of my ride-alongs, you already know it's the truth. Sometimes it don't work out too good, but there are most times, the most of the time, I'll say 85-90% of the time, it works out great. Where I get my files, a lot of them are uploaded, let's say probably, I don't know, anytime during the week, okay? And they'll just start coming in and coming in. Okay, so when they come in like that, most of them are going to have pretty much the same zip code or zip code over or something of that nature. Those I would try to put on the same day when I call to schedule the appointments. So let's say if a zip code is 90005 and I got some 9007s and 08s coming in, I'm going to try my best to put all of them within that same day. If I have too many, they'll go over into the next day. If I end up with one going north instead of going south, I'm going to put it all the way back, like say on a Wednesday, by itself in hopes that I get some more going north that I can put in there with it. Sometimes it most definitely don't work out that way, and I end up having to go north and then come back and go south. But that is how I do it, so that I can make sure that I get all of my appointments on time, in order, really fast, without any problems, and knock it out around in a circle back to the house. Okay, so I hope that helped you. Oh, and as far as it being 15 or 20 minutes away from each appointment, I live in LA, okay? 5 miles, which is nowhere from where I'm from. 5 miles is 5 minutes. 5 miles here can be 30, 45 if they're working on the road. Okay, so decide what you're gonna do as far as time based off where you live. All right, KK, KK, hey girl, KIAC 1857. This is pretty much a comment, okay? Okay, so I'm reading it just how she says it. Okay, so I've done signed up for 3 companies because of you. Over here thinking I'm Miss Deidre. Now I'm scared. No clue on what I'm doing. Looks like I must sign up for your mentorship. Hey girl, you already know. All right, so let's see here. And that Vita Tomato certification is not a scam for educational purposes. Hey friend, happy Friday from Nashville, Tennessee. Fun fact, I'm from California. Well, you know what, Kay? If whenever you come to California, please drop it in so I know. Let's go get some lunch. All right. So then she backs it up with, okay, so you know I told you I was scared on the last video, and now you put this one out, and it is right on time because I got my first email today saying I have an assignment I need to acknowledge. Lord knows I'm nervous, but Miss Deidre says get out there. Okay. Yes, Kay. And I know from a previous comment that I've seen not long ago that you had in fact went out and did your appointment. So I hope you have shaken all the nerves off and everything went as planned. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I hope I was able to help a few people with some of these questions and answers today. And with that being said, yep, knock knock, it is time to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. You know I'll be bringing you back another one. Enjoy the rest of your day.